Hello everyone. The beginning of this video has a mistake in it. It says we will be studying paper 33. In actuality, we will be studying paper 32. So just ignore that. We straighten it out as we start. So it is paper 32 and we will start from there. Thank you. Hello everyone, this is the Fifth Epical Revelation Fellowship. I'm Reverend Dr. Roger Paul, and tonight we are going to study paper 33, the administration of the local universe. And this starts section 2 of the book, which is 4 parts. So we got a new year, new start, everything's starting all over again. Hope you can join us along the way. My wife Diane's going to say a little prayer for us and we'll get started.
Dearest Father God, we thank you so much for this opportunity to study your word and to open our hearts and our minds and be receptive to the information that comes through tonight, that we may learn and pass on our understandings to others so they also may share in this incredible revelation. We thank you for the gathering tonight. We ask your blessing on each person and everyone that listens to this tape in the future, and we thank you for life, and we thank you for the so many blessings you've given to us, and bless our families and loved ones and friends, and help us to continue to gather together and study your word. It is in your name, Jesus Christ, Michael of Nebadon, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Now, Rodney, would you like to, my friend Rodney had a question he sent me an email on this week, and I thought it was such a good question, several questions, that we would go over this because we're talking about the local universe today and the makeup of the universe. So, Rodney, do you remember what your questions were?
Well, I could actually bring them up.
Well, actually, I remember the main one, which is going to answer a lot of the other ones, and that was whether God the Father is actually out in the universes, or the space out past the universes, right? Was that it?
Well, more or less, I got to thinking that, we don't really know what's out beyond the 4
outer space levels, right? Yeah.
Levels, well, space is eternal. No matter which direction you go. And I started thinking, wow, I never really thought about it, but if God created everything, he must have created eternity as well, space.
That's right. That's right. Now,
but the thing is, it's always been. So as the Father's always been. So.
And always will be.
That means that, to me, that means the master universe is like you could put it on the head of a pen.
Yeah, that's literally correct. And the celestial astronomers are in as much mystery as we are about this. But from what they teach us in the book, space is not empty. It's, when you think of space, people think it's empty, but it's not. It consists of primordial matter and charges, the circuits and things like that. And now, the unqualified absolute is the one of the 7 absolutes, and that extends out past even the 4 outer space levels. And that's the non-deity part of God, right? The unqualified absolute. So even in the space outside the 4 outer space levels, the unqualified absolute extends even out past that. So as far as we know, there could be millions of grand universes just like ours and 4 outer space levels just like ours out there. And if you think about it, God fragments himself in the thought adjusters, doesn't he? And that's that Father fragment we have within us. So if he's so powerful, he can fragment his part of his personality to give us that fragment. Why not it be possible that he could fragment his material, unqualified absolute, out into millions and zillions and millions of super universes, right? So God the Father may not only have us as children, He may have millions of other universes or grand universes, including the 4 outer space levels, out mastering. Yeah, they may be out there that we don't know about, and He just does not inform us about.
It's endless.
Yeah, it's endless. They talk about eternity never ending. So that would be a logical assumption that that would be the case.
It just blows my mind.
Yeah,
It
it
does.
is. It's
That's probably why it's
interesting.
not mentioned in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, remember, it's the unqualified absolute that manipulates the primordial matter, preparing it for the architects of the master universes, right? Or the paradise architects. And they go out and manipulate that primordial matter, getting it ready for the architects to come in with their plans, and eventually for the sons of God to come in and manipulate those plans and that matter into planets and organization. Okay? So this could go on indefinitely. I mean, just on and on and on. Did that answer the question, Rodney?
More or less. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's not.
It's a great question. It's something that the beings of even paradise ponder. You know, how far God really goes.
Well,
You know?
the thing is, would you consider space material?
Yes.
I mean, it's not spiritual.
No, it's material. It's considered the material part. And remember that the material part of space, once it's manipulated by the architects of the master universe, is controlled by what? Paradise, right? So all the material and the matter is controlled by paradise and manipulated by the sons of God and the infinite spirit, right? I mean, there's a combination there, the Son of God and the infinite spirit. So it's really interesting. You can speculate for days and days and days just about that one subject, really.
Well, Roger, I think that I read recently that, it said that God is spirit, but paradise is a reality, or
It is.
a physical reality.
It's a physical part of the universe.
Yes.
It's not
I read the
deity.
same thing, Pamela. I read the same thing, and it was one of our daily.
Yes.
Devotionals, yeah. But remember that paradise is not deity, right?
Yes.
Paradise is physical. It's a control mechanism where the Trinity, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit, are deity, are the deity part. So if you think of paradise, paradise is really part, you could think, and they speculate about this too, of the unqualified absolute. Because the unqualified absolute is actually in control of all that's not paradise also, right? So it not only controls paradise, but it also controls all that is not paradise, which would be pre-matter, primordial matter, and any void, right? It's kind of interesting when you look at the pictures of paradise. They have sections where they have the unqualified absolute, and the reason being is it's not really part of paradise, and it's not really part of the universe. So it is what? It's got to be part of the unqualified absolute.
Exactly.
You know, so it's kind of interesting. It really is. Okay, let's get started. Administration of the Local Universe. I love this paper. I'm going to let y'all know right off the bat because it's very informative about where we are. Okay. Administration of the Local Universe. Pam, would you like to start reading for us tonight? First paragraph?
Roger?
Yeah.
I thought we were on page 357.
That's three. They got 33, honey. It's supposed to be
What?
32.
Oh, no.
Okay, we're
I
on.
thought 31 was the end of the first part.
No, 32. Hang on.
366.
366.
Wait a minute. Did I skip a page?
I thought we were starting. Phew.
But he loves this paper, though.
Yeah, this is what I had prepared for. Hang on.
I think
I
it's
thought we
32,
were
though.
starting from the very beginning.
That is
Is it
32.
the problem because she's got a different book?
No, hang on. Let me just check myself here.
Paper 32 starts on 357.
You're right. You're right.
And as far as I know, that's
What's the heading of the paper?
Local universe, paper
The-
32,
the-
the evolution of local universes.
yeah, the local universe.
That was your email.
Oh, gee.
32.
32.
Yeah, I thought we are at yeah, it's mislabeled here. It is paper 32. Did I bring up the wrong one over
33.
here?
Henry,
Right, it is paper
33.
32.
Oh,
Roger.
Oh, I did bring up the wrong. Excuse me. I did bring
I
it.
love this paper.
Yes, yes, I have. I've hit the wrong one here on this computer, this particular paper. I'm on the right one on one.
But
And,
I'm not going to read because I'm working.
okay, that's fine.
So I'll just
Yeah,
listen
I hit the
when I
wrong
can.
one. There we go.
Okay, okay, Pam.
I'm glad y'all caught that. We've been reading away here.
Hmm.
Okay, the evolution of local universes.
Do you love this one too, Henry?
This is the one I was talking about. I love the next one too, but I love this one better.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Millie, would you start reading for us, please, dear?
I thought Pam was going to start.
And our introduction. No, she's not going to read tonight. Our introduction was wrong too. That people at home were reading paper 32, which starts on page 357, section 1 or 0, really. Okay.
Oh, I've got your picture.
No, same here.
You got my.
You were circling.
Oh, okay. So my. Can you see me move now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. Okay, so that's good.
You want me to start?
Yes, please, dear.
The evolution of local universes. A local universe is the handiwork of a creator son of the Paradise Order of Michael. It comprises 100 constellations, each embracing 100 systems of inhabited worlds. Each system would eventually contain approximately 1,000 inhabited spheres.
Okay, so let's break this down because this stuff is really important that we understand it. We're talking about a local universe. It is the local universe level that the creator sons, all 700,000 of them, choose an area of space to make a creation, right? After the architects of the master universe come in and set up the plans and get everything ready, right? And within this local universe, there are 100 constellations, okay? So each constellation has 100 systems. Our system is called Satania, right? And within each one of those systems, there's 1,000 inhabited spheres, okay?
So, Roger,
Uh-huh.
so that breaks it down. There's 10,000 systems in a constellation, and there's 10 million inhabited spheres in a constellation.
Yeah, we're going to look at a chart here in just a second. It's going to make this clear as a bell to you.
All right.
Okay? So let me advance it a little bit. Okay, I'm just going to read through this and then we're going to go to the chart I was talking about. The constellation level. This is star groups. Our constellation is known as Norlatiadek. This is the constellation level, not the local universe. Our local universe is called what? Nebadon, right? That's our local universe. So our constellation is Norlatiadek. And the capital is Adentia, and it has a cluster of 770 architectural spheres. That's the constellation. All right, Adentia is approximately 100 times larger than Urantia. Okay? This constellation consists of 100 local systems. So in each constellation there's 100 local systems. And it says time and weight and distance measurement is the same as on Salvington. So it's uniform throughout. The atmosphere utilizes both material and Morontia gases, which allows incredible gardens. So it's got plants just like here. Adentia has a sea of glass crystal landing field and receiving resurrection halls for ascenders, just like the mansion worlds, right? Okay, so this is the breakdown. And this is important for understanding the makeup of the grand universe. Okay, our super universe, 1/7 of the grand universe, is called Orvonton, and with the capital of Uversa, right? So what they're talking about here is right here, the 7 super universes, right? Let me see if I can you see that light on there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I see it very well.
Within the 7 super universes, there are 70 major sectors. Notice the 10. And then there's 7,000 minor sectors within the major sector. So there's 70 major sectors within the 7 super universes, 7,000 minor sectors within the major sector. What we're talking about tonight is the local universes. You see this? And there's 700,000 local universes. He's going to try to chase it. The local universes, for each local universe has a different, what? Son of God. Okay? Creator Son. So there's 700,000 Creator Sons. Ours is Michael, or Jesus, right? He's one of 700,000. Okay, within his local universe, within the local universes, there are 70 million constellations. So, within Jesus' local universe of Nebadon, there are 10,000 constellations, right? Because it's 1/7 of this. Within those constellations, there are 1 billion, what? Local systems. Our local system is Satania, right? So there's 10 billion other local systems that Jesus has created, okay? Or Michael. And within that, there are a billion inhabited planets. Because there are 7 billion, no, I'm misquoting.
No, there's yeah.
Yes.
Really.
Yeah, it would be 1/7.
A trillion?
Huh?
A trillion?
No, we're going to come to that in a minute. Let me skip over that because we got the number later on, okay? But it would be 1/7 of this 707 trillion number. 1/700, right? Okay, the other thing that's interesting about this is 1/7 of the number shown above includes inhabited planets. So 1/7 of Orvonton is 1 trillion inhabited planets in our super universe. And we're going to break it down to the local universe in a few minutes. Also, something interesting about this is the standard day of the universes, which is the standard day of Salvington, is 30 days of Urantia time. A standard year is 100 standard years equals 3,000 Urantia days. Okay? The other thing that's interesting about this too, it says planetary mission to the super universe circuit requires physical stability and spiritual loyalty. We have neither, right? This planet is, number one, it's not stable. It's still got gases coming up. We still have volcanoes. We still have storms. We have tsunamis. It's not a stable planet yet, right? And it's definitely not, number two, is it? Spiritual loyalty. But what's interesting is that very few, not very many in our local universe are yet, right? Okay, so let's keep going, and we're going to expand this information even more. Will you take the next one, dear?
That's Rodney's turn.
Oh, is it Rodney? Did I skip over Rodney? Rodney, would you like to read the next one?
Okay, these universes of time and space are all evolutionary. The creative plan of the Paradise Michaels always proceeds along the path of gradual evolvement and progressive development of the physical, intellectual, and spiritual natures and capacities of the manifold creatures who inhabit the varied orders of spheres comprising such a local universe.
Okay, let's look at this a little bit. all the universes of time and space are evolutionary. What does that mean? That only Paradise and Havona is what? Non-evolutionary. Actually, parts of Havona is evolutionary because of our involvement with it, right? But it was created perfect. You understand the difference? All other of the 7 super universes all evolve. And they evolve through the sons of God, through the Paradise Michaels. Okay? So none of them are created perfect. All of them are going through the same life struggles, the physical struggles, the intellectual struggles, and the spiritual struggles, as just like we are. Okay? So we're not this little lone planet that we're the only one going through this. All the planets of the 7 super universes do the same thing. Okay?
Urantia belongs to a local universe whose sovereign is the God-man of Nebadon, Jesus of Nazareth, and Michael of Salvington. And all of Michael's plans for this local universe were fully approved by the Paradise Trinity before he ever embarked upon the supreme adventure of space.
So everything he's planned out was approved by the Trinity before he left, right? And started this millions of years ago. The sons of God may choose the realms of their creator activities, but these material creations were originally projected and planned by the Paradise architects of the Master Universe. Okay? Why is it the Paradise architects of the Master Universe? Because these are the ones that go out and determine how the 7 super universes are to be divided up into what? Minor sectors, major sectors, minor sectors, constellations, local universes. Right? So the Creator Sons come along and take that plan and fulfill that plan. And they can vary within that plan to have great latitude, right? And the types of beings they create, the types of planets they create, etc., etc., etc. But it's all according to the master plans of the Paradise master architects. Okay, Millie, would you take the next one? Turn your mic back on, Millie. We can't hear you.
I'm just reading away. Physical emergence of universes. The pre-universe manipulations of Space Force and the primordial energies are the work of the Paradise Master Force organizers. But in the super-universe domains, when emergent energies become responsive to local or linear gravity, they retire in favor of the power directors of the super-universe.
So it's the Paradise Master Force organizers that started out, and then as soon as the local linear gravity comes to effect and takes over, then the power directors come in and all the workers underneath them comes into play. Okay? Now these are interesting slides, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them, but you can look at these at your leisure. In the slide program. But this is a picture of the spiral and other nebula and the mother wheel of the spheres of space that are initiated by the Paradise Force organizers. Okay, this is the core of the pre-Nebadon universe. In other words, this is the first thing that happened. Now the next picture is the Paradise Force organizers. And about 700 billion years ago, the Andromeda system was assuming gigantic proportions, and additional physical controllers were dispatched to the surrounding material creation to afford support and supply cooperation to the power centers of the new material system, which was so rapidly evolving. This is 700 billion years ago. Okay? Then the next thing that happens is what? A Creator Son is assigned to it. Okay, so this happened before the Creator Son. Then the Creator Son comes in with what? A local universe Mother Spirit, and they start their creation. And this is the creation of Nebadon within our grand universe, right? And then it says here, this is the 100 constellation headquarters worlds. This is one of the first things that starts after they make the creation. And this required almost 1 billion years to complete the clusters of specialized created worlds of the 100 constellations. So, you have to think about this as a long process. This is a 1 million years just to get the headquarters done. Okay? That's just getting started. Okay? Then it says here, 200 trillion years ago, witnessed the progression and contraction and condensation with enormous heat generation, the androcentric clusters of the nuclear mass. The older inhabited planets of Nebadon date from these times. This is when the very first planet was created. And we're talking about 200 billion years ago.
This is just for the local universe.
This is just for the local universe. Okay? Alright. Then the next thing that comes, about 200 billion years to 500 million years ago, or 500 billion years ago.
Just 5 billion.
Yeah, I'm just changing my billions on millions all over the place. The local system headquarters planets were constructed over a period extended from that time to about 5 billion years ago. So, the local system headquarters worlds of Salvington were created from 200 to 5 billion years ago. So it took a long time for the headquarters worlds to be constructed. These are architectural spheres. These are created spheres for specific purpose, right? Okay.
They're actual physical spheres that are out there whirling around.
That are whirling around. Now these are architectural spheres, so they do not what? They do not degenerate and disappear like planets do. Planets over a period of time can come and go into existence. And all that period of time they can be inhabited, de-inhabited and re-inhabited again. Right? But these architectural spheres are permanent once they're built. Okay? That's what we have to remember, the difference. Okay? Who's next? Rodney, would you take the next one?
All right, I was just thinking, when I was a kid growing up in the church, I was taught that all of creation was 6,000 years old.
Yeah, I kind of missed it a little bit there, didn't it? That's all right. I have a chart that's normally on this wall. I took it down because we're going to move, but it only goes back to 6,000 years, and it traces all the Bible all the way back 6,000 years, which is kind of interesting because Adam and Eve is in there, and we know that's 39,500 years ago. So, anyway, let's keep going.
They still teach that the world is not that, the earth is not that old.
They do.
They have no concept, most people.
No.
No concept.
None whatsoever. I was watching something, I think I was watching a little bit of Ancient Aliens last night, and they were dating the Sphinx back to, they think it goes back to 8 to 10,000 years before Christ. You know, so if that was around that long, you know, I mean, anyway. Okay, let's go on, Rodney.
Okay, the sons of God may choose the realms of their creator.
No, we're on the next one, Rodney. These power direction there.
Pardon me?
We're on 3212. 357.6.
Wow. That shows where I was. I was studying my other chart reader.
Okay.
These power directors function alone in the pre-material and post-force phases of a local universe creation. There is no opportunity for a creator sun to begin universe organization until the power directors have effected the mobilization of the space energies sufficiently to provide a material foundation, literally suns and material spheres.
So this has to happen, Rodney, before the creator suns can come in and create, right?
Exactly.
The power has to be there, and the power directors are in charge of that, right? Now, they don't just leave. We're going to find that out here in a second. Okay. Here.
The local universes are all approximately of the same energy potential, though they differ greatly in physical dimensions and may vary in visible matter content from time to time. The power, charge, and potential matter endowment of a local universe are determined by the manipulations of the power directors and their predecessors, as well as by the Creator Son's activities and by the endowment of the inherent physical control possessed by his creative associate.
And who is their creative associate?
Creative
Mother Spirit.
The local universe Mother Spirit. That's correct. It's a partnership. They don't do anything separate, right? The energy charge of a local universe is approximately 1/100,000th of the force endowment of its super universe. Got that? 1/100,000th force endowment of the super universe. It's pretty small. In the case of Nebadon, your local universe, the mass materialization is a trifle less, and we're going to find out why in a minute. Physically speaking, Nebadon possesses all the physical endowment of energy and matter that may be found in any of the Orvonton local creations. The only physical limitation upon the developmental expansion of the Nebadon universe consists in the quantitative charge of space energy held captive by the gravity control of the associated powers and the personalities of the combined universe mechanism. This is part of the gravity circuit, right? And the power circuit. Okay? Millie, would you take the next one?
When energy matter has attained a certain stage in mass materialization, a paradise creator son appears upon the scene, accompanied by a creative daughter of the infinite spirit. Simultaneously with the arrival of the creator son, work is begun upon the architectural sphere, which is to become the headquarters world of the projected local universe. For long ages, such a local creation evolves, suns become stabilized, planets form and swing into their orbits, while the work of creating the architectural worlds, which are to serve as constellation headquarters and system capitals, continues.
So, Salvington is the first thing that they start to create, right? Because that's the dwelling place of what? The Creator Son and the Creative Mother Spirit.
So where are they before it's finished?
Out in the local universe, in the matter that's there. You know, they're spirit beings. They don't have to dwell on a sphere. All of them normally do, but they have to create those spheres for them to dwell on. You follow me?
Make your own home.
Make
So
their,
they're sort of like floating around?
they are floating around. They make their own home, which is the architectural sphere. Soon as that's done, immediately they kick in and start their beings under them, or associated with them, including the master physical controllers and the power directors, start building what? The architectural worlds, which become the constellation headquarters and the system capitals. And this takes around 200 billion years to complete these. Pretty close. 195 billion anyway.
But don't the Creator Sons, aren't they in training with other already seasoned Creator Sons?
Seasoned Creator
And
Son.
likewise with the Creative Mother Spirit, they're with the Infinite Spirit.
That happens before they actually come in and start.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but that's what they do before.
That's what they do before
Right.
they start this process. Okay, let's go on to 2, Universe Organization. Rodney, I think you're up next.
Okay. The Creator Sons are preceded in universe organization by the power directors and other beings originating in the third source and center, which is the infinite spirit.
That's right.
From the energies of space, as previously organized, Michael, your Creator Son, established the inhabited realms of the universe of Nebadon, and ever since has been painstakingly devoted to their administration. From pre-existent energy, these divine sons materialize visible matter, project living creatures, and, with the cooperation of the universe presence of the infinite spirit, create a diverse retinue
Retinue.
of spirit personalities.
Okay, so first there's the universal organization by the power directors, right? And notice here they talk about other beings originating in the third source and center. So there's other beings involved in this process. Don't get the idea it's just the power directors or just the mechanical physical controllers or any of that. They have other associate beings that they don't inform us about that are helping along in this process. So I'm sure it takes multitude and many other types of beings. Okay, so after that organization, then Michael is totally devoted to their administration. So he is the head kahuna, right? He makes sure everything gets done the way him and the local universe mother spirit wants it done, right? And in that process is the creation of what? Visible matter. Planets, oceans, creatures, everything we know of. So when we say that Michael or Christ is our concept of God, that's exactly what he is. He is the representative of deity, God the Father, to us because he's created all that we see and all that we know, right? So he is the representation of the Father and our Creator. So if you want to call Jesus or Christ God, that's an appropriate title. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Also, it's very important here that we talk about the cooperation of the universe presence of the infinite spirit, which is whom? The creative mother spirit, right? Nothing is made and nothing is projected without the involvement of the local universe mother spirit. She is the equal with Christ, okay? The partner, okay? Just like in the Trinity, the Son of God is the equal with what? The infinite spirit. It's the same process, okay?
The eternal Son.
The eternal Son, that's right. Now, and together they create the whole concept of beings that serve in our local universe, okay? With the exceptions of the one that are actually directly from the infinite spirit, okay?
These power directors and energy controllers who long preceded the Creator Son in the preliminary physical work of universe organization later serve in magnificent liaison with the universe Son. However, remaining in association...
Forever remaining.
What did I say?
Yeah, however remaining.
forever remaining in associated control of those energies which they originally organized and circuited. On Salvington, there now function the same 100 power centers who cooperated with your Creator Son in the original formation of this local universe.
So these power centers don't do this and disappear. They stay with the local universe forever, okay? And if we'll look at right down at the very bottom, my head's going to be in the way, this is the super universe circuits. And in the very bottom down here, the seventh one is the energy circuits of the power centers and the physical controllers. It's part of the 7 circuits of the super universe. Okay? You've seen this slide before. We've been over it many times. Okay? So the power centers and the master physical controllers exert perfect control over only 7 of these 10 forms of energy contained in each of the 3 universe circuits. So they only control 7 out of the 10 forms of energy. Okay? They don't tell us everything, do they? Okay? And this is a chart of the master physical controllers. And y'all can look at this later too, but it's very interesting if you study this. It talks about the master physical controllers, the 7 supreme power directors, the associate transcendental force organizers, this would be where in Havona, and the primary eventuated master force organizers. Okay, this is the primordial force. Y'all can look at these later. And these are all from the Don Estes chart. And this is more of that information about that tells kind of what each one of these do. The master physical controllers, the power directors are the dispatchers. The mechanical controllers, direct flow of energy. Energy transformers are living switches. They actually tell us where the energy go. Energy transmitters are superconductors. Primary associated are capacitors. Secondary disassociated are reversers. The Frandelanks and chronodecks register time, and the Frandelanks are barometer gauges, and you can read those later. Okay. Millie, would you take that one, please? Let my voice have a break. Turn your mic back on, Millie. We can't hear you. Millie?
What did I miss?
The first complete act.
The first, I thought that was yours. The first completed act of physical creation in Nebadon consisted in the organization of the headquarters world, the architectural sphere of Salvington, with its satellites. From the time of the initial moves of the power centers and physical controllers to the arrival of the living staff on the completed spheres of Salvington, there intervened a little over 1 billion years of your present planetary time. The construction of Salvington was immediately followed by the creation of the 100 headquarters worlds of the projected constellations and the 10,000 headquarters spheres of the projected local systems of planetary control and administration, together with their architectural satellites. Such architectural worlds are designed to accommodate both physical and spiritual personalities, as well as the intervening Varacha or transition stage of being.
Okay, so after the physical creation, Michael and the local universe Mother Spirit were out there hanging around doing creation, that sort of thing, while over 1 billion years passed while Salvington, which is their headquarters, was being created, right? So it took 1 billion years, and we worry about a few days in this life. That's stick-to-it-ness, isn't it? Okay, and it tells us here then the 10,000 headquarter worlds of the projected local systems. That is 10,000 local systems, right? My cats are trying to get to the screen tonight. Okay, and these spheres accommodate both the physical, spiritual, and morontial types of beings. Okay? Alright, and this is a picture of the first act of completed creation, the creation of Salvington. Then we go on, shortly after that, there's only, I need to explain this too, there's only one Michael Creator Son in our local universe, right? Also though, in our local universe, there's assigned to us 10,062 avonal or magisterial sons just in our local universe, right? And then there's also 15 to 20,000 Danals, which are Trinity teacher sons for all the planets in the local universe. We're going to cover those again a little bit later. Okay, go ahead, dear. Oh, I think, Rodney, you're next. I'm trying to skip that again.
Okay, Salvington, the headquarters of Nebadon, is situated at the exact energy mass center of the local universe. But your local universe is not a single astronomic system, though a large system does exist at its physical center.
Okay, so the center of mass of the local universe is Salvington. But there's multiple systems involved in the local universe of Nebadon. Okay? So there's several different systems. It's not just one system. Okay, there's multiple systems. Okay, and this is a picture of Salvington and all the worlds that surround it. Okay, 490 worlds. These are the encircled worlds of Salvington. Now, when you look at this picture, it doesn't really look like that, right? Salvington's in the center, and all these satellite worlds and all their satellites are situated all the way around it on every side. So it just looks like a mass of stars, right?
You're saying there's 490 architectural worlds?
Yeah, of Salvington. That's right. Okay? And we're going to get a visit each and every one before we move from Morontia beings to what? First stage spirit.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So we got lots of worlds to visit.
What
Okay.
about Edextra? Didn't you say there's 770 architectural worlds?
In the constellation headquarters, that's right. That's right, 770. So we got lots of visiting to do. Don't you think it's going to take a little time?
Yeah, I want to focus on the local universe.
Yeah.
Get past that.
All right, let's go on to the next.
Salvington is the personal headquarters of Michael of Nebadon, but he will not always be found there. While the smooth functioning of your local universe no longer requires the fixed presence of the Creator Sun at the capital sphere, this was not true of the earlier epochs of physical organization. A Creator Sun is unable to leave his headquarters world until such a time as gravity stabilization of the realm has been effected through the materialization of sufficient energy to enable the various circuits and systems to counterbalance one another by mutual material attraction.
Okay, so for billions of years he's locked into the center, right, in Salvington, with the local universe Mother Spirit, who is always locked into the center. She cannot leave. But as time goes on and he starts his, bestowals, he's allowed to leave, right? And his job is taken up by who? The beings that they have created. Gabriel, all the angels, the Lananondex, the Verandadex, planetary princes, that's their job, right? They take over in the administration of the local universe so that Michael is made available to do other things, right? Okay, but it mentions here about the stabilization and the material of sufficient energy to enable the various circuits and systems to counterbalance. What would be some of those circuits and systems? That would be like the gravity system, right? The gravity circuit, right? The spiritual circuit, the material circuit, the personality circuit of the Father, right? Those types of circuits. All right. Presently, the physical plan of the universe is completed, and the Creator Son, in association with the Creative Spirit, projects his plan of life creation. What is the plan of life creations? The plan of beings, right? Okay, wherein does this representation of the infinite spirit begin her universe function as a distinct creative personality? She comes into her own, creating. When the first creative act is formulated and executed, there springs into being the bright and morning star, the personification of this initial creative concept of identity and ideal of divinity. And who is that? That would be Gabriel, right? This is the chief executive of the universe, the personal associate of the Creator Son, one like him in all aspects of character, though markedly limited in the attributes of divinity. Still, yeah. Okay. Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes, and I'll turn my speaker on. And now that the right-hand helper and chief executive of the Creator Son has been provided, there ensues the bringing into existence of a vast and wonderful array of diverse creatures. The sons and daughters of the local universe are forthcoming, and soon thereafter the government of such a creation is provided, extending from the supreme councils of the universe to the fathers of the constellations and the sovereigns of the local system. The aggregation of these worlds, which are designed subsequently to become the homes of the very mortal races of will creatures, and each of these worlds will be presided over by a planetary prince.
You see the hierarchy coming into being here? You see why it's so important that a system sovereign does not default like Lucifer did, and that a planetary prince like Calagasta does not follow him into default? This is the normal hierarchy of the government of the local universe. Okay? This creates major issues, right? All right. Rodney.
One default creates a domino effect.
That's right. That's exactly right, Millie.
And then, when such a universe has been so completely organized and so repletely manned, does the Creator's Son enter into the Father's proposal to create mortal man in their divine image.
Okay, I want to mention this because I think this is one of the most important paragraphs in this book. Okay? They plan to make mortal man in their divine image. What does that mean? It does not mean we look like Jesus or we look like God the Father, does it? We're created in the divine image, not in their physical image, but the divine image. What does that entail? That entails the thought adjuster, the gift of the Father, the personality, right? And the personality which comes through the Son, the eternal Son, through the Creator Son, right? Together, those things come into being with the adding of the local universe mother spirit into what? Creating a soul, right? So our divine image is the divinity of the Father, the divinity of the Son, and the divinity of the Spirit. Okay? So that's how the Father and the Son propose to create mortal man in their divine image, not their physical image. So you could have beings that look as different as the number of stars in this universe, right? But
I can have an image in my head of a green person, a red person, a black person. I just can't create them. But they can have those images.
That's right. That's right.
Image in their mind or image in them.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, they could be the physical image of almost anything, couldn't they? And still be what? In the divine image. Because of what? The thought adjuster.
Not Billy's image, they're in God's image.
They're in God's image. That's right. That's right. Does that make sense? So we can have beings out there as diverse as every star in the sky. Right? Looking different. But they're still in the divine image of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Spirit. Does that make sense? We strive for our divinity. We're going to find out a little bit later tonight that the Paradise citizens do not have thought adjusters. Isn't that interesting? No one of the Paradise citizens have thought adjusters when they start out.
Only the people that came
from the
Jesus.
7 super universes have thought adjusters. Okay? Because they're created perfect. They don't need that divine image training them how to find God the Father. Right? That makes sense? All right, let's keep going. Now, I've talked so much I forget who's up. Millie? No. Rodney? Rodney. All right. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Okay, I just read the last one.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm following the instructions of my wife here.
Sorry. The organization of planetary abodes is still progressing in Nebadon. for this universe is indeed a young cluster in the starry and planetary realms of Arvanton. At the last registry there were 3,840,101 inhabited planets in Nebadon and Satania. The local system of your world is fairly typical of other systems.
Okay, I want to bring a point up here. It's very important. You see that 3,840,101 inhabited planets?
Right.
We know that Nebadon can have 10 million inhabited planets. Okay? You got that? So, what does that mean? That means that almost 68% of Nebadon does not have its inhabited planets. So we are only, what? We are only populated less than 1/3 of our local universe.
Exactly.
So there is, what, 2/3 of our local universe that's yet to be inhabited by planets, inhabitable. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So we are what? A very, 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 very young universe.
Well, we're the seventh super universe.
Yes.
The seventh super universe, so that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So we're just getting started, aren't we? We can't be in a big hurry to say we're going to make it to light and life. There's 68% of the planets haven't even been given life implantation into them yet, right?
So it's important to enjoy the journey.
So enjoy the journey while you can. That's right. Okay. Satania is not a uniform physical system, a single astronomic unit or organization. Its 619 out of 1,000, right, inhabited worlds are located in over 500 different physical systems. Only 5 have more than 2 inhabited worlds, and of these only 1 has 4 peopled planets, while there are 46 having 2 inhabited worlds. So we still have, just in our local system, Satania, we still have 381 planets to go that haven't been inhabited yet. Just in our system, right? What, like I said, we're a young universe, all right? Millie?
Yes. Is my speaker? Is it not? Okay. The Satania system of inhabited worlds is far removed from Uversa and that great sun cluster which functions as a physical or astronomic center of the 7th superuniverse. From Jerusalem, the headquarters of Satania, it is over 200,000 light years to the physical center of the superuniverse of Arvanton, far, far away in the dense diameter of the Milky Way. This is the first time I've heard them mention the Milky Way.
Yeah.
We talk about the Milky Way all the time, and we wonder where all these planets are. They're in the Milky Way. Okay, Satania is on the periphery of the local universe, and Nebadon is now well out towards the edge of Arvanton. From the outermost system of inhabited worlds to the center of the super-universe is a trifle less than 250,000 light years.
Okay, we're talking about the center of the super universe, not the center of the universe, right?
Right.
Okay, so if we look at this, there's Uversa, right? And from Uversa is at the center of the Milky Way, right? Jerusalem is 250 light years from 1,000 light years from there to Uversa. And I think I got another picture I'm going to show you y'all in a minute. It's going to bring us all together. Okay, Rodney, would you take the next one?
Well, I wanted to go back to this Milky Way thing here.
Okay. So think of it this way. All right, people get confused about this Milky Way concept.
Yeah, what's it say here?
The Milky Way is not the center of Arvanton, right? You got that? The Milky Way is one cluster of stars in thousands or million clusters of stars in Orvonton, in the super universe.
Right.
Okay, so if you, what they talk about Uversa, if we look through the center of the Milky Way, we could get to Uversa. But
Oh,
the Milky Way is not the center of Orvonton. That's confusing to people. People think that the Milky Way is the center of the seventh super universe. It's not.
really? Wait. You said the center of the Milky Way is Uversa?
No, it's not. If we go through the center of the Milky Way,
You were looking from Earth toward
yes.
the center of the Milky Way.
Yeah, if you're looking for Earth through the center of the Milky Way, that's the direction of Uversa.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, but the Milky Way is not the seventh super universe.
Right. Is that, well, what's that considered a constellation, a local universe, local system?
That I'm not sure, Rodney. There's speculation that there may be 70 of these within the local within the seventh super universe. Okay, so they speculate that there's 70 of these clusters within the local universe of Uversa, because in the first outer space level, which we can view part of that, there's billions and billions of these. Okay, just like the Milky Way. Okay? That even, are you confused even more
I
now?
am now.
No. You were saying, speculate about 70
Yeah, I've read some studies that they
galaxies.
about 70. They speculate. I think it's about 70 of these in one super universe.
That's a galaxy.
That's a galaxy, right?
Okay, I'm just taking notes here.
Yeah. Now some people think that there's 700,000 of these, and some people think there's 70 million of these in the local universe. So I read it lots of different ways. So any one of them could be right. We're not sure. What we do know that that Orvonton, the seventh super universe, is big, right? Very big. Okay. Let's go on. Rodney, take the next one.
The universe of Nebadon now toward the south and east in the super-universe circuit of Orvonton. The nearest neighboring universes are Avalon,
Hensalon,
Ensalon.
Sansalon,
You go ahead and read them.
Portalon, Wolvering, Fanerving, and Alvaring. Okay? Now these are what? Each one of these are equivalent to what? Nebadon. Right? So these are 7 other creator suns and their local universe. Right? So this just lists the closest 7 other creator suns close to us.
I mean, there's 100,000 in this super universe.
That's right.
These are only just a few names.
That's right.
Neighbor.
Yeah, so there's 100,000 different names of local universes in our 7th super universe.
Holy man,
Okay, now
it's phenomenal.
this is really going to blow your mind. I don't even know if it's even worth mentioning, but they're talking about stretching across the 7 super universes is about 20 million light years. Okay, from Paradise to Uversa is about 8 million light years. All right, from Uversa to Jerusalem is about 250,000 light years. Okay, and our little planet would be way out here on the edge. Okay, so we're out on the very edge of the 7th super universe. That's why we can point our telescopes out to the outer space, the first outer space level, and see unlimited number of planets developing. Okay, we're really in a great place, because if we are on this side, we could not see those planets developing because they're too far away.
Well, of course.
Right? So we're really in a fortunate position, you know? We really are. What's also interesting, it's about 8 million light years from Paradise to Uversa, but to the first super universe, because it's closer, because it's a big oval, this is only about 7 million light years to it. So it's just
Only 7 million light years.
only 7 million light years. That's right. Okay. Let's keep going.
But the evolution of a local universe is a long narrative. Papers dealing with the superuniverse introduce this subject. Those of this section, treating of the local creations, continue it, while those to follow, touching upon the history and destiny of Urantia, complete the story. But you can adequately comprehend the destiny of the mortals of such a local creation only by a perusal of the narratives of the life and teachings of your Creator Son, as he once lived the life of man, in the likeness of mortal flesh, on your own evolutionary world.
So what's it telling us here? It's telling us all about the universes, the super universes, the local universes, and all this. And what it boils down to is, if you didn't know any of this, it's okay, as long as you understand what?
Your destiny.
Your destiny and the life of the Creator Son.
Life of the Creator Son.
That's right. That's the most important thing.
Your
Okay.
destiny is to be like the Creator Son,
That's right. To be like the Creator Son. Become a son of God.
so that we can fulfill the divine image.
That's right. Okay, 3. The
Uh,
evolutionary
uh,
idea.
Before we go any further,
Yeah.
how many light years did you say?
How many light years for what, Rodney?
From the center to Phototon?
8 million.
8 million.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you know what really gets me is that the thought adjuster travels that distance and back after you die, right?
Yep.
I mean, if you resurrect in 3 days, he's there and back. Most of his time is spent there.
That's right. And it's less than 3 days, Rodney. It's almost non-time existent, because he spends most of his time in registration on Divinington. Okay? So it takes him time to register you in as a sanctioned being of survival and get back to what? The mansion world, so that when you're put back in your body, he's there. Okay? So it's
I bet he's glad to see the price of gas go down.
yeah, yeah, really. So that's pretty amazing if you think about it. The movement of a thought adjuster.
Oh, yeah.
Do we get
Only to be compared with the solitary messengers. Really.
Will we get to move like that eventually?
Yeah, if we become solitary messengers, I guess we could. No, we get to move quite fast, but probably not as fast as the thought adjusters ever. Really. You know? Not ever. Okay, let's keep going. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Okay, number 3, the evolutionary idea. The only creation that is perfectly settled is Havana, the central universe, which was made directly by the thought of the Universal Father and the Word of the Eternal Son. Havana is an existential, perfect, and replete universe surrounding the home of the eternal deities, the center of all things. The creations of the 7 super universes are finite, evolutionary, and consistently progressive.
So, except for the central universe and Havana, which is created perfect, everything else is what? Evolutionary. It progresses. Okay? No exceptions. All 7 super universes. Right? And they progress. Alright? Dear?
The physical systems of time and space are all evolutionary in origin. They are not even physically stabilized until they are swung into the subtle circuits of their super universes. Neither is a local universe settled in light and life until its physical possibilities of expansion and development have been exhausted, and until the spiritual status of all its inhabited worlds has been forever settled and stabilized.
So there is a lot that has to happen before we reach light and life, right? And these people that are telling you that we're fixing to come into light and life are fooling themselves, right?
I've seen that.
Yeah, well, there's people out there that say that we're fixing to come into the stage of light and life, and I got news for them. We got a long, long way to go before that ever happens.
What planet are they from?
That's the good question. All right. Except in the central universe, perfection is a progressive attainment. In the central creation, we have a pattern of perfection, but all other realms must attain that perfection by the methods established for the advancement of those particular worlds or universes. And almost infinite variety characterizes the plans of the Creator's sons for organizing, evolving, disciplining, and settling their respective local universes. So the Creator's sons themselves, their plans, their organizations, their creations, everything are as diverse as the stars also, right? They're not all exactly alike. Millie, you always get these big ones, Millie.
I hear your activity going on.
Yeah, I got cats going crazy here.
Earlier, there was something that jumped up on your left.
Yeah, every time I use the pointer, the cats goes nuts in here.
He teases them with the red dots.
I have these little red dots I run across the floor and they chase, and they love to chase them. So.
They chase sunbeams too.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Okay, with the exception of the deity presence of the Father, every local universe is, in a certain sense, a duplication of the administrative organization of the central or pattern creation. Although the universal Father is personally present in the residential universe, he does not indwell the minds of the beings originating in that universe as he does literally dwell with the souls of the mortals of time and space. There seems to be an all-wise compensation in the adjustment and regulation of the spiritual affairs of the far-flung creation. In the central universe, the Father is personally present as such, but absent in the minds of the children of that perfect creation. In the universes of space, the Father is absent in person, being represented by his sovereign sons, while he is infinitely present in the minds of his mortal children, being spiritually represented by the pre-personal presence of the mystery monitors that reside in the minds of these will creatures.
So since the Father is present in the central universe, physically present, he's present not in the 7 super universes, except in what? In the thought adjusters, or the mystery monitors, right? The thought adjusters. So he lives within each and every one of this. That's how he's present in the 7 super universes. But his representation is what? Is the Creator sons. So our representative of deity is the Creator sons, right? Okay, that's the difference. The central universe, he's not within each and every being because he's created them, right? And he's always there. But he's not he's not out in the 7 super universes physically, other than the thought adjuster, right?
It's wild.
Isn't that wild? Interesting. Okay. Rodney, would you take the next one?
Sure. On the headquarters of local universe, there reside all those creator and creative personalities who represent self-contained authority and administrative autonomy, except the personal presence of the universal Father. In the local universe, there are to be found something of everyone and someone of almost every class of intelligent beings existing in the central universe except the universal Father. Although the universal Father is not personally present in a local universe, he is personally represented by his Creator Son, sometime Vicegerent of God, and subsequently supreme and sovereign ruler in his own right.
So, from the central universe, we have representation of every type of being in the super universe, in the 7 super universes, with the exception of the universal Father. The representation of the universal Father is the Creator Son. If you've seen the Creator Son, you've seen the Father, right? And the thought adjuster that lives within us. Okay?
The farther down the scale of life we go, the more difficult it becomes to locate with the eye of faith the invisible Father. The lower creatures, and sometimes even the higher personalities, find it difficult always to envision the universal Father and his Creator Sons. And so pending the time of their spiritual exaltation, when perfection of development will enable them to see God in person, they grow weary in progression, entertain spiritual doubts, and stumble into confusion, and thus isolate themselves from the progressive spiritual aims of their time and universe. In this way they lose the ability to see the Father when beholding the Creator Son. The surest safeguard for the creature throughout the long struggle to attain the Father during this time when inherent conditions make such attainment impossible is tenaciously to hold on to the truth fact of the Father's presence in his sons. Literally and figuratively, spiritually and personally, the Father and the sons are one. It is a fact. He who has seen a Creator Son has seen the Father.
And this is where Lucifer defaulted, right? He lost his eye of faith, right? To be able to visualize the Father through the Son, right? And the same with Calagasta. Okay. The personalities of a given universe are settled and dependable at the start only in accordance with their degree of kinship to deity. When creature origin departs sufficiently far from the original and divine sources, whether we are dealing with the sons of God or the creatures of ministry belonging to the infinite Spirit, there is an increase in the possibility of disharmony, confusion, and sometimes rebellion and sin. And this is exactly what happened to Lucifer, right? Okay, it depends on your kinship to deity, right? Your faith in deity, listening to that voice of the Father, right? Not only within you, but through the sons. Okay. Accepting perfect beings of deity origin, all will creatures in the super universes are of evolutionary nature, beginning in lowly estate and climbing ever upward in reality inward. Even high spiritual personalities to continue to ascend the scale of life by progressive translations from life to life and from sphere to sphere. And in the case of those who entertain the mystery monitors, there is indeed no limit to the possible heights of their spiritual ascent and universe attainment. Boy, are we fortunate, aren't we?
No limit.
No limit. Millie, would you take the next one?
Yes. The perfection of the creatures of time, when finally achieved, is wholly an acquirement, a bona fide personality possession. While the elements of grace are freely admixed, nevertheless, the creature attainments are the result of an individual's effort and actual living, personality reaction to the existing environment.
Isn't it interesting how they say a bona fide personality possession here? And it's individual effort. It's how much we put into it, right? Okay, Rodney, would you take the next one?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, Is Pamela going to read, or has she?
No, she's working too, so she's working
Oh,
while
okay.
she's listening. So,
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, the fact of animal evolutionary origin does not attach stigma to any personality in the sight of the universe, as that is the exclusive method of producing one of the two basic types of finite intelligent world creatures. When the heights of perfection and eternity are attained, all the more honor to those who begin at the bottom and joyfully climb the ladder of life, round by round, and who, when they do reach the heights of glory, will have gained a personal experience which embodies an actual knowledge of every phase of life, from the bottom to the top.
so we might be lowly animal creatures to start out with, but it gives us the experience of every type of creature by the time we get to the top. Right?
It says those who joyfully climb the
Joyfully
the
climb
life.
the left. That's right. That's right.
In all this is shown the wisdom of the creators. It would be just as easy for the Universal Father to make all mortals perfect beings, to impart perfection by His divine word, but that would deprive them of the wonderful experience of the adventure and training associated with the long and gradual inward climb, an experience to be had only by those who are so fortunate as to begin at the very bottom of living existence.
So enjoy your life, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Enjoy your climb. The joy is in the action of climbing, right? And living. That's what life's about. It's a long goal, and there's a goal to reach, but the joy comes from the climbing. That's why they state in another place in the paper, when people become finalators, they wish they could start all over again.
Yeah, it's just like watching a good movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Once you're at the end, it's like, darn.
Yeah. It's over. I
Or
can't
both, yeah.
experience anymore.
I sure enjoyed that.
That's right. In the universes encircling Havona, there are provided only a sufficient number of perfect creatures to meet the need for pattern teacher guides for those who are ascending to the evolutionary scale of life. The experiential nature of the evolutionary type of personality is the natural cosmic complement of the ever-perfect natures of the Paradise Havona creatures. In reality, both perfect and perfected creatures are incomplete as regards finite totality. In the complemental association of the existentially perfect creatures of the Paradise Havona system with the experientially perfected finalators ascending from the evolutionary universes, both types find release from inherent limitations and thus may conjointly attempt to reach the sublime heights of the ultimate of creature status. So both the Paradise Havona creatures and the evolutionary creatures benefit from this association, right? They both grow. Even though the Paradise Havoners are perfect, they grow from our imperfect experience. Isn't that interesting?
Because they gain experience.
Because
from
they
all-
gain the experience as imperfection from us.
Right? They crave imperfection.
That's right. All right.
Make this interesting.
Yeah. Billy, would you take the next one?
These creatures' transactions are the universe repercussions of actions and reactions with the sevenfold deity, wherein the eternal divinity of the Paradise Trinity is conjoined with the evolving divinity of the supreme creators of the time-space universes in, by, and through the power-actualizing deity of the Supreme Being.
So they all add to experience of the Supreme Being. And when all experience is had in the seven super universes, the Supreme Being is full of what? Experience. So it becomes the experiential God, right? That's how the Supreme Being comes into full fruition. All right? Rodney.
Okay, the divinely perfect creature and the evolutionary perfected creature are equal in degree of divinity potential, but they differ in kind. Each must depend on the other to attain supremacy of service. The evolutionary universes depend on perfect Havana to provide the final training for their ascending citizens. But so does the perfect central universe require the existence of the perfecting super-universes to provide for the full development of its descending inhabitants.
So they complement each other. They feed off of each other, right?
It's yin-yang.
We feed off of them, and they feed off of us.
It's balanced.
Yeah, it's a
great.
balance.
The two prime manifestations of finite reality, innate perfection and evolved perfection, be they personalities or universes, are coordinate, dependent, and integrated. Each requires the other to achieve a completion of function, service, and destiny.
All right. 4. God's relation to a local universe. Do not entertain the idea that since the Universal Father has delegated so much of himself and his powers to others, he is a silent or inactive member of the deity partnership. Aside from personality domains and adjuster bestowal, he is apparently the least active of the paradise deities, in that he allows his deity coordinates, his sons and numerous created intelligence, to perform so much in the carrying out of his eternal purpose. He is the silent member of the creative trio only in that he never does aught which any of his coordinate or subordinate associates can do. He allows all things to be done for themselves so that they can experience it themselves, right? Not taking anything back on himself. Okay? Millie.
Okay. God has full understanding of the need of every intelligent creature for function and experience, and therefore, in every situation, be it concerned with the destiny of a universe or the welfare of the humblest of his creatures, God retires from activity in favor of the galaxy of creature and creator personalities who inherently intervene between himself and any given universe situation or creative event. But notwithstanding this retirement, this exhibition of infinite coordination, there is on God's part an actual, literal, and personal participation in these events by and through these ordained agencies and personalities. The Father is working in and through all these channels for the welfare of all of his fivefold creatures.
And that includes the creator sons down and the adjusters up, right? So he works through both all his agencies down and all their creation, and he works up through each and every being through the thought adjusters, right? Okay? Rodney.
As, excuse me, as regards to policies, conduct, and administration of the local universe, the Universe Father acts in the person of his Creator Son. In the interrelationships of the sons of God and the group associations of the personalities of origin in the third source and center, or in the relationship between any other creatures, such as human beings, as concerns such associations, the Universal Father never intervenes. The law of the Creator's Son, the rule of the constellation fathers, the system sovereigns, and the planetary princes, the ordained policies and procedures for that universe always prevail. There is no division of authority. Never is there a cross working of divine power and purpose. The deities are in perfect and eternal
Unanimity.
unanimity.
Okay, and what does that mean? It means that he gives the authority over to the creator sons, the constellation fathers, the system sovereigns, and the planetary princes, and allows them to rule, right, in his stead. Okay? So they have complete authority as long as they follow what? The divine plan. Right? When they default, what happens? That's a problem. Right? So they have to be replaced with someone else that will carry out the divine plan. Okay? And that's what happened in our local universe with the default of Lucifer in Calagasta, right? Satan.
The Creator Son rules supreme in all matters of ethical associations, the relations of any division of creatures to any other class of creatures, or of two or more individuals within any given group. But such a plan does not mean that the Universal Father may not in his own way intervene and do aught that pleases the divine mind with any individual creature throughout all creation, as pertains to that individual's present status of future prospects, and as concerns the Father's eternal plan and infinite purpose.
So he retains the right to step in at any time on anything, right? Which he normally gives that to what? The Creator Sons, right? In the mortal will creatures, the Father is actually present in the indwelling adjuster, a fragment of his pre-personal spirit, and the Father is also the source of the personality of such a mortal will creature. So he's within us all the time. Millie.
These thought adjusters, the bestowals of the Universal Father, are comparatively isolated. They indwell human minds, but have no discernible connection with the ethical affairs of a local creation. They are not directly coordinated with the seraphic service, nor with the administration of systems, constellations, or a local universe, not even with the rule of a Creator Son, whose will is the supreme law of his universe.
So the Creator Son is the supreme law of the universe, but we still have the Father within us, right? Who can dictate to us any time, right? Rodney.
The indwelling adjusters are one of God's separate but unified modes of contact with the creatures of his all but infinite creation. Thus does he who is invisible to mortal man manifest his presence. And could he do so, he would show himself to us in still other ways. But such further revelation is not divinely possible.
Why is it not divinely possible? Because there's such a gulf between us, the physical, and him, the spiritual. Right? Okay.
We can see and understand the mechanisms whereby the sons enjoy intimate and complete knowledge regarding the universes of their jurisdiction, but we cannot fully comprehend the methods whereby God is so fully and personally conversant with the details of the universe of universes, although we at least can recognize the avenue whereby the Universal Father can receive information regarding and manifest his presence to the beings of his immense creation. Through the personality circuit, the Father is cognizant, has personal knowledge of all the thoughts and acts of all the beings and all the systems of all the universes of all creation. Though we cannot fully grasp this technique of God's communication with his children, we can be strengthened in the assurance that the Lord knows his children, and that of each one of us he takes note where we were born.
He knows where all of us are, right? And they're talking here about the Father's personality gravity circuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the circuit they're talking about. Okay. In your universe and in your heart, the Universal Father is present, spiritually speaking, by one of the 7 master spirits of central abode, and specifically by the divine adjuster who lives and works and waits in the depths of the mortal mind. All right, Millie.
God is not a self-centered personality. The Father freely distributes himself to his creation and to his creatures. He lives and acts not only in the deities, but also in his sons, whom he entrusts with the doing of everything that is divinely possible for them to do. The Universal Father has truly divested himself of every function which it is possible for another being to perform. And this is just as true of mortal man as of the Creator's Son who rules in God's stead at the headquarters of a local universe. Thus we behold the outworking of the ideal and infinite love of the Universal Father.
Okay. Rodney, take the next one.
Okay. In this universal bestowal of himself, we have abundant proof of both the magnitude and the
Magnanimity.
magnanimity of the Father's divine nature. If God has withheld aught of himself from the universal creation, then of that residue he is in lavish generosity bestowing the thought adjusters upon the morals of the realms, the mystery monitors of time, who so patiently indwell mortal candidates for life everlasting.
So that Father fragment sits and waits for you to graduate life and to become part of you, right? 3.
The Universal Father has poured out himself, as it were, to make all creation rich in personality, possession, and potential spiritual attainment. God has given us himself that we may be like him, and he has reserved for himself of power and glory only that which is necessary for the maintenance of those things for the love of which he has thus divested himself of all things else.
He's given away everything possible, right? The eternal, divine, and divine purpose. There is great and glorious purpose in the march of the universes through space. All of your mortal struggle is not in vain. We are all part of an immense plan, a gigantic enterprise, and it is the vastness of the undertaking that renders it impossible to see very much of it at any one time and during any one life. We are all a part of an eternal project which the gods are supervising and outworking. The whole marvelous and universal mechanism moves on majestically through space to the music of the meter of the infinite thought and the eternal purpose of the first great source and center. Is that not beautiful?
Magnificent.
Yeah. Millie.
The eternal purpose of the eternal God is a high spiritual ideal. The events of time and the struggles of material existence are but the transient scaffolding which bridges over to the other side, to the promised land of spiritual reality and supernal existence. Of course, you mortals find it difficult to grasp the idea of an eternal purpose. You are virtually unable to comprehend the thoughts of eternity, something never beginning and never ending. Everything familiar to you has an end.
That's the way we're built, right? Rodney.
As regards an individual life, the duration of a realm, excuse me, or the chronology of any connected series of events, it would seem that we are dealing with an isolated stretch of time. Everything seems to have a beginning and an end, and it would appear that a series of such experiences, lives, ages, or epochs, when successfully arranged, constitutes a straight-away drive, an isolated event of time flashing momentarily across the infinite face of eternity. But when we look at all this from behind the scenes, a more comprehensive view and a more complete understanding suggests that such an explanation is inadequate, disconnected, and wholly unsuited properly to account for and otherwise to correlate the transactions of time with the underlying purposes and basic reactions of eternity.
It all comes down to we can't understand something being existential, never beginning, never ending. Because everything to us has a chronological order, right?
To me, it seems more fitting for purposes of explanation to the mortal mind to conceive of eternity as a cycle and the eternal purpose as an endless circle, a cycle of eternity in some way synchronized with the transient material cycles of time. As regards the sectors of time connected with and forming a part of the cycle of eternity, we are focused to recognize that such temporary epochs are born, live, and die, just as the temporary beings of time are born, live, and die. Most human beings die because, having failed to achieve the spirit level of adjuster fusion, the metamorphosis of death constitutes the only possible procedure whereby they may escape the fetters of time and the bonds of material creation, thereby being enabled to strike spiritual step with the progressive procession of eternity. Having survived the trial life of time and material existence, it becomes possible for you to continue on in touch with, even as a part of, eternity swinging on forever, with the worlds of space around the circle of the eternal ages.
So, because we can't learn to fuse in this lifetime, death brings us the opportunity to continue on in the mansion worlds until we can fuse with the adjuster and become what? Eternal. Right? So it's God's way of allowing us a second chance other than just this one life. Right? The sectors of time are like the flashes of personality in temporal form. They appear for a season and then they are lost to human sight, only to reappear as new actors and continuing factors in the higher life of the endless swing around the eternal circle. Eternity can hardly be conceived as a straightaway drive, in view of our belief in the delimited universe moving over a vast, elongated circle around the central dwelling place of the Universal Father. So just as the universe is round, we travel this circle over and over and over, and eventually end up in the center in front of the Universal Father. Okay, Millie.
Frankly, eternity is incomprehensible to the finite mind of time. You simply cannot grasp it. You cannot comprehend it. I do not completely visualize it. I do not completely visualize it. And even if I did, it would be impossible for me to convey my concept to the human mind. Nevertheless, I have done my best to portray something of our viewpoint, to tell you somewhat of our understanding of things eternal. I am endeavoring to aid you in the crystallization of your work, of your thoughts about these values, which are of infinite nature and eternal import.
Now remember, this was written by a mighty messenger attached to the Supreme Council of Nebadon, assigned to this mission by Gabriel of Salington. So he's on a very high level, and even he does not understand it all.
No, he used to be a human.
Yeah. Rodney, would you take the next one?
I mean, that's true, right? All
That's right.
messengers
Yep.
were,
They were once humans, just like
they
us.
were
That's
created
right.
as mighty messengers.
That's right.
Okay, there is in the mind of God a plan which embraces every creature of all his vast domains, and this plan is an eternal purpose of boundless opportunity, unlimited progress, and endless life, and the infinite treasures of such a matchless career are yours for the striving.
Giving us that little push that, come on, you can go on this journey too, right?
Yeah.
The goal of eternity is ahead. The adventure of divinity attainment lies before you. The race for perfection is whosoever will may enter, and certain victory will crown the efforts of every human being who will run the race of faith and trust, depending every step of the way on the leading of the indwelling adjuster, and on the guidance of that good spirit of the universe Son, which so freely has been poured out upon all flesh.
This would make a great Southern Baptist preacher thing, wouldn't it? The goal of eternity is ahead, right? The adventure of divinity attainment lies before you. The race for perfection is on, right?
Do you want me to do that again?
No. But you can see what he's trying to say here, you know. This is an invitation for each and every being to go on this adventure, right?
With
Well,
trust
that's
and faith.
exciting.
Sounds exciting, doesn't it? And this is presented by a mighty messenger temporarily attached to the Supreme Council of Lebanon and assigned to the mission by Gabriel of Salvington. Now don't run off yet. At the end of these slides, I have the organization for you. There's several slides out of Don Estes' chart of the administration of the universe. And these are real handy. Look through these at your leisure. You'll really enjoy them. It breaks down from the paradise level, the super universe level, the major sector, and who's the administration on that, the minor sector and the administration on that. Then the local universe level, you notice the paradise sun, the local universe, mother spirits at the head, and then it goes down through the bright morning star, and then the constellation level, and then the system level, right? And all the beings associated with that, and the planetary prince. Okay?
Roger,
Yeah.
is that in the email that you sent us?
Yes, it's the in the email, and it's also on the website, and it will be also on the link on the video for the slides. And it's number 2. It's the one that's got the -2 at the end's got all the pictures always. So, and by the way, on while we've been waiting to move, and I had the time, I've redone all the slides except for maybe 10 of the slides from all the stuff we've done before. And I've made them every single slide. Let me go back here. You can go to the slides now, and all the links are active. So anything you see in orange here, like Gabriel or Salvington, you can click on those and it will take you out to the index on the website. So every single slide I have now has an index link, and you can go through all this link. You can study from the slides just like you can from the book now. Okay. Also, at the beginning of each one of these slides, there will be 2 links. After I get done compiling the movie in the next 2 days for this meeting, there will be a link for the movie. So if you want to re-watch the video and then watch the slides at the same time, you can click on the video link and listen to it and look at the slides. Okay, you can do that all from the slide link now. Okay, and all the slides will be that as we get done. I have about just a few in the life of Christ I didn't get to, and I'm going to work those in between when we get back going full force. Now, as soon as we get moved, I plan on going back to Wednesday and Sunday mornings again. We're not doing Sunday mornings right now because we're still sorting out things and going to be getting things in boxes and that sort of thing. And I will need to take 1 or 2 weekends off for that too when we get ready to move. So I'll keep you all informed about that. But we should be meeting every Wednesday from here on out, except for the Wednesday of the closing. We probably won't make that back in time. So, all right.
Sounds great.
Let's have a little prayer and we'll close for the night. Thank you all for coming and joining us again. I'm sorry it was so long to get started again. Couldn't be helped, unfortunately. Rodney, would you like to say a little prayer for us to close?
Surely. Heavenly Father, we thank you greatly. There's many things to be thankful to you for. We certainly thank you for your great love and mercy for us. We thank you for our study group, that we're able to spend time to study this word. And we thank you for Roger and Diane's contribution toward this subject matter. And we pray for a continued wisdom and insight as we go our way. In all things, your will be done. In the name of your Son, Christ Michael. Amen.
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 Thank you for joining us at home, folks. Please come see us again.